New Gremlins and Goonies movies are in development right now in 2025. New Gremlins and Goonies movies are in development now in 2025. When I think fresh, hot new content, some of the most amazing, creative content that could possibly be made in 2025, I think about movie franchises from 40 years ago. That's the first thing that comes to mind. I couldn't think of anything better to make in this modern era than reviving dead movie franchises that are 40 years old. Now, here's the thing. I want you to understand something. These movie franchises are great, okay? Gremlins had 2 movies. The first movie was a hybrid comedy, horror, holiday film. It stormed everyone by surprise. It actually flopped at the box office because there was another movie that came out that same weekend that like destroyed it. And I forget what it is. It was like a really popular movie at the time. But the movie got legs and became a cult classic, so much so that everyone started watching it and talking about it. And then it got a sequel that was so campy and over the top that people loved that one too. And even that one got like a following. But then it just said, okay, that's enough. And for what I'm to understand, they've been trying to make a Gremlins 3 for a very long time, but it just never got off the ground. Like various reasons it kept getting, let's produce it, and then it fell flat, and then try it again, and then it stopped again. So I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with that. Obviously, if they make it today, it's got to be like the most zany movie ever. Don't make it serious in any way. Just make it like a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon. And I think it would actually do well because people would just be like, what the fuck are we watching in 2025 Gremlins, right? But in regards to the Goonies, okay, I'm sorry. The Goonies is a great movie. The Goonies is 100% representative of a different era, the 1980s. Everything in the Goonies oozes 1980s, okay? The cars, the technology, the music, the way the kids dress, the way the people act. It is 100% 1980s. It's like a time capsule of 1980s. It really is. And it doesn't need any further follow-up. It doesn't need a sequel. It doesn't need a prequel. It doesn't need, that I compare this to when they just tried to do this with A Christmas Story. They tried it twice with A Christmas Story. This is a movie that's set in a certain time period. It was a 1980s hit. And then they tried to make a sequel and they tried to make a spin-off. No one wants that. Okay, no one. The Goonies is amazing. It is pure 1980s Americana. It's funny, well acted, well written. They even went back. People liked the movie so much, they went back and found the hidden, deleted scenes of stuff that was completely taken out of the movie that would have made the movie even cooler. What are you going to do? Production and stuff, they always cut stuff out of movies. People love it, right? And here's the thing. Lady Charisma makes a good point. I was actually getting to this point. Why do I think they're trying to do this? Because recently, something else happened that blew up, that got a lot of attention, and I think that they're trying to basically now use that as the premise to go back and re-explore the past. It's called Stranger Things, right? The sci-fi horror series on Netflix that takes place in the 1980s, is full of 80s Americana stuff, but it's this ongoing, show, have 4 seasons. The 5th season, I think, comes out this year. And it's done incredibly well for itself. It blew up with popularity. And a lot of people even said Stranger Things Season 1 is like The Goonies. You're right. Stranger Things Season 1 is like The Goonies. Now, future seasons are nothing like The Goonies. But the first season felt like The Goonies, and people loved that nostalgic feeling. And maybe now, because it's been so successful, they're using that as their reasoning to make another Goonies film. But dude, if they do this, let me put it this way. Let's examine every possible aspect, okay? A sequel. Could they do a sequel? Yes. They could bring back most of the original cast and actually do a sequel set in present day. Out of these, I know for a fact 3 out of these 4 actors are alive and ready to do it. I don't know about the guy on the right. I don't know about the actor who played the character on the right. But the other 3 could easily do it. Corey Feldman, Sean Astin, right? And I don't know that guy's name, but he's also the actor from Indiana Jones, and he just recently did a big hit film as an adult. He won an award, didn't he? So all 3 of them could come back to do Goonies 2. Okay, I don't know about the guy on the right. I don't know if he's done anything since. Also, the other characters, some of them, are notable actors, and they could come back. Okay? But, FYI, do you want to see this in 2025? Do you really think it would be good? Maybe just on the premise of having these actors come back together and shoot the shit, that could be entertaining. But do you really want to know what's going on with these kids 40 years later, now that they're all grown, old, probably salty adults? Right? Let's be honest, the character, I forget the kid's character, the Asian kid there who's the inventor. He has all these cool inventions. He probably is the owner of TikTok or the inventor of TikTok that's about to be closed in the US, right? Like that would be the modern plot, is that he's running TikTok or, and he's all salty about that. So that's what I mean. Like, do you really want to, I don't want to see a follow-up of this in the modern day. The story is kind of, how can I say, it's an immortal story. It doesn't need a follow-up. We don't need to know. We just want these characters immortalized as the characters they were during the story in the 1980s. Okay? So I don't think we want that. Also, here's the other thing too. What's the other thing? What about the freaking the monster dude from the movie? What the hell's his name? I totally forgot his name. They give him the baby Ruth. Can you imagine having that character in a movie today? Everyone would be so offended. Oh my God, you have a character in this movie who's obviously disabled, and mentally incapacitated and stunted, and you have this as a character, and you're making fun of them, and it's supposed to be funny. How could you? How could you have them in a movie today? That would be so offensive. Fred Rogers says they could have them all, bring them all back, but they've all transitioned to women now. Oh my God. Anyway, I don't remember the character. Does anyone remember the character's name? Is it Rocky? I don't remember the character's name. Is it Rocky? I haven't seen Goonies. I love Goonies, but I haven't seen it in a long time. I used to see it all the time in the 80s and 90s. It would get played on TV constantly, but I haven't seen it in a very long time. Sloth. His character's name is Sloth. Okay, Sloth. That's the character's name. Got it. Wait a minute. His name is Sloth? How offensive is that in 2020? So let me get this straight. Because he has a mental disability, he's slow like a sloth, and that's acceptable in 2025. You know what? I take it back. Cancel this movie. No one ever see Goonies. It's incredibly offensive. If you watch this movie, you're going to be constantly offended every second. There's no possible way you could enjoy a movie like this in 2025. Cancel the cast, cancel the crew, cancel the writer, the director, cancel it all, delete it, take it like Fahrenheit 9/11, right? Burn the books. Not Fahrenheit 9/11. Fahrenheit, the original Fahrenheit. It wasn't 9/11. It wasn't Fahrenheit, whatever the numbers are. Burn the books. Burn them all. Burn the movie. Make a big pyre. 451. Thank you. It's Fahrenheit 451 was the original writing. Make a big pile of bad movies and media and burn it. We can't have this anymore. Cancel the culture. Cancel it. Pretend like it never happened. Okay. Anyway. Calling him Sloth is really fucked up. Well, there's the thing. In the 80s, no one cared. In the 80s, no one was offended by this kind of stuff. They would say, wow, that's really interesting and scary. Because originally the character is meant to be scary. You think that this guy's like a vicious, like almost like a Frankenstein's monster brew where he's not controllable. But then you find out he's a gentle giant. All he wants to do is be treated nice. Give him a Baby Ruth candy bar. He'll be your best friend, right? So the writing is good, but people are offended. How could you have that in your movie, right? So anyway, there you go. So should Goonies be remade? No. I don't think Goonies should have a prequel, a sequel, a remake. I don't want to see this movie again with new actors and new mannerisms and redone for the modern era. This is fine. This is good. Watch this original movie and fuck anyone who wants to fuck it up. Gremlins, I could see Gremlins 3. The whole premise of Gremlins is zaniness. that these creatures are uncontrollable and they run amok, and that could be a timeless thing. Like, that could happen not right now, right? Gremlins take over and everyone's all, gets screwed up. I would be all right. Really, I would be all right with a new Gremlins movie. In fact, I think I would actually like to see a new Gremlins movie. As long as it's, not a reboot, but, let's have Gremlins 3 or something, right? But not, dude, don't fuck Goonies up. People are just messed up. Again, why are they doing this? It's very simple. There's no originality left in Hollywood. Literally no one in Hollywood has a fucking speck of talent. They just take things from the past and keep rehashing them and redoing them because they don't have any talent to make anything good that anyone wants to see. So you get 7,000 Fast and Furious movies, 14 fucking Transformers movies, redo this, Ninja Turtles 70-second reboot. But do you get anything new that's good? Can you name one thing that's been new and actually really good in the last 10 years?